You know, some Wednesdays it feels like the week is taking forever, and other Wednesdays it feels like the week is flying by. But today, I'm not really sure which of those I'm feeling. Hi everybody, today I am continuing my Plan As You Go series where I show you how I use my planners, my bullet journal, my Erin Condren horizontal, and my power sheets together in tandem for an entire month. It is Wednesday, February 6th, so it's day 6 of Plan As You Go. I am going to get my power sheets updated and then set them to the side so we can get going. I have a couple of things happening today, a doctor's appointment and a patron live, so I need to get some work done in between or before, whatever the case may be. Looking at this, I did have our date night last night, which was lovely. We weren't sure if it was going to happen or not because of Jesse's schedule. And I actually decluttered a section of my closet last night. Amazingly enough, I got through my shoes, which was really nice actually. I realized I had several pairs of shoes that were basically the same shoe. I did some of this as well. I did not finish it, but I did do some of it. So I feel like I'm making some progress here. Still haven't used Headspace though. Things are moving right along. I'm gonna scooch this off to the side. As a side note, pens I use to fill in things are a combination of the Tombow twin tone markers and these Erin Condren dual tip markers. I have a bunch of them. I just grab whichever color matches the color coding. I have my Erin Condren open here. So this out and this dinner are gonna switch. I'm gonna make these pork chops and the roasted cauliflower tonight. We did get laundry done. I did get some of this done. I got these things done. Had coffee with my friend. The one thing I didn't do was finish planning the 9:30 services. I did get work done on that. They're just not done yet. So today I have a phone appointment with my doctor, my kidney doctor, and then I have a patron live stream this afternoon. Other than that, we need to give Loki his flea meds tonight. I need to finish this work, and I really need to get the scheduling of the days off and the budget times done. Those should be able to be done today, even with these things going on. So I just put schedule shit because I've got those couple of different scheduling things to work on today, and I've made it a big part of my day so that I really get it done because it keeps just getting moved from week to week. And that actually kind of goes with one of the questions you guys asked me on yesterday's video. CJ Wallace asked, how do you decide when to do things you put on your weekly intentions list? This is a thing I struggle with. I've had the same 2 things on my weekly list for 6 months and would like some insight. All right. So the list that CJ is referring to is this list. This is my weekly intentions list. I put it in my bullet journal, and this is stuff that is a priority this week. I am the same way. There are certain things, as an example, getting these scheduled days off and budget times like in the calendar has moved from week to week for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. There's been things that have moved from week to week for months on my list. Now, in a perfect world, when I'm looking at like my ideal day and when I'm looking at the time I have, like so today as an example, besides making this video, I have these 2 timed appointments, which means that the work that I need to do needs to happen in between these appointments. And I think about how much time that is. Ideally, I'll look at this list, think about how much time any of these things generally take, like certain things like emailing this place, I can do that quickly. I could do a bunch of emails at one time, so I could schedule email time and knock those out. Or if it's something that takes more time, like meal planning or doing a freelance project, then I need to know that I have enough time to do it. And so if I look at my day and I only have like hour blocks of time in between other things, that may not be a day to do a project that's going to take me 5 hours. Now, this is all ideally. I'm also a procrastinator. Sometimes there are things I just don't want to do, either because they just, I don't know, like it's not even that they're hard or that they're awful. A lot of the times when there's something I don't want to do, it's because I hate asking for help or I hate reaching out to people and potentially getting turned down. So certain emails that I have to send or phone calls I have to make, I will put off and put off and put off because I don't want to do them. The only way I've found to really deal with that is to just fucking do it. It's easier said than done for me. Other tasks, if they keep getting pushed off and keep getting pushed off, maybe you need to stop and look at them and think, do I really need to do that? Is this really a priority for me? Because if this is, then I need to just fucking do it. And if it's not, then maybe I should just tell myself, okay, I'm just not gonna do it, and then remove it from the list and move on with your life. Both of those require making a decision, and sometimes decision anxiety can like fuck with you. I don't have a lot of great tips except to just like suck it up and do it. And that's one of those like do as I say, not as I do situations. Now today I said these 2 things that need to get scheduled need to be on here. I also need to send several emails. I need to email this one group. There's a few different emails I need to send, so I think I'm gonna put that on here as well. And then I'm gonna put that we need to do Loki's flea meds. And those are the things I'm pulling off of this intentions list. And I think that this is gonna be my day for today. Another question you guys asked in yesterday's video came from Athena. If you did date night, how was it? I think I kind of talked about that already, but I'll just say that date night was great. We went to our favorite steakhouse and just had sandwiches, sat and chatted about life and so on and so forth, and we're able to just have, and then in the evening we came home and watched Final Destination 2, and it was just a nice low-key, but still we got out of the house as opposed to just sitting around the house, and had dinner where we got to like look at each other and put our phones down. So that was really nice. So thank you for asking. Now that I've got this done, I'm gonna put this to the side, move to my bullet journal. I did not take a painkiller last night also. That was really lovely. Had a lovely, I wasn't even hurting last night. Like last night actually did not feel crappy at all, which was nice. I'm still, you know, snarfly, you know, dealing with the, you know, you get sick, you have like a cold, and you feel like utter ass for a few days, but then like the cold just lingers for the next month. I'm in the middle of that right now. Before I do anything else, I have something else I remembered I needed to put on tomorrow so I don't forget about it. And that is to actually schedule my live plan with me for this weekend. So I will be going live instead of filming one of these videos ahead of time on Sunday, what month is this? February 10th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And that will go up tomorrow for you to be able to hit notifications on it. There are 2 questions that kind of pertain to my Erin Condren that I wanted to answer as well. And the first one comes from Rachel Barber. What do you think about stickers of people if they're like of your kids, like their faces or them playing instruments? All right, this has to do with the fact that I find stickers of like people, like realistic looking people, to be hella creepy. I don't like them. I like the little munchkins are fine because they're obviously cartoony, but like when it's people-y, I get really creeped out. It's like the uncanny valley for me. It horrifies me. When it comes to like actual photograph stickers of my kids, for memory keeping, I don't think that would bother me, but for stickers to show like their band time or something, I don't think I would do it. Not because they would creep me out, because they're physical pictures. That doesn't bother me as much as drawings of people, I guess. But it's not my aesthetic. I've seen those photo kits, and that's what I talked about in that video. I just don't understand it. It's just not, I like a certain aesthetic in my planners, and photography is not one of those aesthetics. I like it for memory keeping, but not for planning. The other question that was asked was from Sherry. Since you tried all the layouts of the Erin Condren Life Planner, which one did I like the best? Honestly, I like them all, depending on the time. Like right now I like the horizontal the best because that's the one I'm using, but I also loved the hourly when I used it, and I really loved the vertical when I used it. It depends on the part of life I'm in, and right now this one fits my life. I might decide next year I want to use an hourly or a vertical, and then that'll be the one I like, probably. So I like them all. I will say, of all the ones I like the best, I like neutral better than colorful. I don't like the colorful layout at all. And it's not because the colors suck. It's because I, like you see here with these flags, I cover up things if they are not the colors I'm using that week. And with the colorful, there's just too much to cover up. So I don't like that. And if I had to recommend a dot grid journal that can be heavy duty, I really like the Scribbles That Matter journals. They're journals I have used a whole bunch. Archer and Olive is really nice, but there's less pages, and unless you really want the thick paper, it's not really necessary. So I would say Scribbles That Matter personally, but that's just the one I've had the most experience with. And speaking of bullet journals, as I go and find my doodle challenge for the day, I'm gonna draw that one over here. I've been kind of clustered over here. And there's, well, maybe I'll do it right here. I'll do it right here. So my doodle for the day is cucumber. And Kay Hunter asked how my bullet journal is holding up. But it has the same, they got a bullet journal that has the same kind of stitching where it doesn't go up to the top the way that this Archer and Olive does. And they said every time they open it, it feels like it's ripping, and they don't want to start with switch early, but they're worried it's gonna fall apart. I haven't had any trouble with it. I don't take it anywhere. Occasionally I take it to the store with me. Other than that, or like to church for like a meeting, but it's in like a tote bag. So it doesn't get very beaten up. So it stays fairly nice. But yeah, the stitching like this, where it doesn't go all the way to the end on either side, it weirds me out, but it hasn't been a problem yet. Just my experience so far. The lettering challenge for today is I Want to Sex You Up. I actually heard that song on the radio the other day and I started singing along with it. My husband kind of looked at me like, what the hell is this song? And then I was reminded of the fact that he is 7 years younger than me, not someone who was of the age or of the persuasion to be super obsessed with Color Me Bad. I was born in 1980, now you know. Pandora's Planner asked if I have any tips for people who are trying to get better at lettering. And I said yesterday when I answered you that the number one tip I have for anybody who is trying to get better is to practice, because that's the only way you're gonna get better. And you're gonna hate what you do when you're beginning. You're gonna hate it, most likely. Or you might do something you really like and then you're gonna love it and then you're not gonna be able to recreate it and it's gonna piss you off. But just keep practicing anyway, because that's the only way you get better, because with lettering, you're learning new muscle memories and that's something that you need to develop over time, like any other muscle. As for other tips, a big one is to not try to do something super elaborate right at the beginning. It's a lot simpler. Something like what I'm doing now, I'm taking my regular handwriting and adding to it a little bit. And that is a lot easier to learn than trying to do something completely different than what you're used to. So start small and practice, and don't jump from font to font. Pick one and work on it for a while. I'm jumping from font to font, but I know how to do all of these. The reason I practice this way, it helps me stay on top of the ones I already know. But for you, you might want to choose, if you want to do, say, this lettering challenge or a different lettering challenge, pick one style to work on for the whole month, so that you spend a little bit of time every day working on the same thing, and you will progress faster than if you bounce from style to style every single day. Another suggestion that I have for people who are trying to get better at lettering is to remember that hand lettering is closer to drawing than it is to writing. So if you remember that what you're learning to do is draw these letter forms as opposed to writing them, it will help you change how you think about how you're building them and how you're approaching them. If you think about it as writing, you get tied up and like all caught up with how you like or don't like your handwriting. And that's a whole fucking kettle of fish you don't want to open when you're trying to learn something new, especially if you don't like your writing, which I think everybody should embrace their handwriting, but that's me. Okay, one more tip. Save stuff you're working on at the beginning so you can look at it later, because you aren't going to see progress every single day that's noticeable, but there will be progress. But if you work for 30 days and you look like, so doing this lettering challenge, if you start and do the same font every single day for 30 days, the way it looks at the end of 30 days is going to be a little bit different and more improved than the way it looked at the beginning of 30 days. And you'll be able to see that if you save your progress, and that will give you motivation to keep going. I hope that helped. I did manage to get most of everything done yesterday, except for the couple things I talked about already. So I'm going to put my bullet journaling for the day here. All my lines are going crooked as fuck. Look at that. Look how crooked that is. Look. Fuck it. There we go. Now it's not so crooked anymore. This seems like a good time to answer a question that I got yesterday as well, a simple one. Karen Wood asked, what marker am I using in my power sheets? The Flare Bled Through. I am using a Pilot fine liner, which is just what I've been using. And as for bleeding through, it really hasn't. I haven't seen it bleed through. It might a little bit. I don't really care that much, but yeah. I would suggest that if you're heavy-handed, any sort of bold fine liner is going to have a higher chance of bleeding through. But this one has been okay for me so far, without really like doing more than a little bit of shadowing. And then the last question that I'm going to answer today is from Tammy Banks. She said, what do you do when you get into a planning funk? I think I could probably make several videos about this. If you'd like me to make a dedicated video about this after Plan As You Go, just let me know in the comments. But I'll give you some of my thoughts right now as I am moving some shit over from my various lists to my today list. When I get into a planning funk, which I have been in, I was in it last year for a while, there are two things that I kind of try to remember. The first one is that, I gotta find my fucking appointment today. The first thing is that just because you are in a planning funk does not mean you get to stop using your planner or using some kind of planner or to-do list. The danger when you're in a planning funk is that you just stop using things altogether. And if you do that, then you run the chance of your life falling apart because you're not paying attention to all the things you have to do. That's actually happened to me before. I have gotten into such a funk that I didn't bother using a planner or anything for a little while because I was so fucking annoyed and irritated at myself and at my planner funk. And then I forgot appointments because I wasn't using my planner, which is ultimately what it's for, right? Whether you decorate or do fancy lettering or anything like that, for the hobby of it, at the root of it, your planner needs to help you stay on top of your shit. And if you stop using it and you don't have anything, the chances of you staying on top of your shit get lower. When you're in a funk, find something to use in the meantime so that you don't, go off the rails, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is to ask yourself what it is that you need from your stuff. I'll link the video up above, the video where I showed my process of trying to figure out my planner system using index cards and everything. You can watch that and see how I actually looked at all the things I'm trying to handle and where they need to go. It was for work mainly, but like to visualize what actually you're trying to plan to help you figure out what you need to be doing. You want your system to fit your life, not your life to fit your system. So in order to do that, you got to look at both of those things. You got to look at your life, at all the pieces of your life that need to be planned out, that need to be taken care of, tracked, whatever the case may be. You gotta look at those things. And then you gotta look at the shit that you're doing, which is what I did when I went through all of my bullet journals to try and figure out what it was about my bullet journal I liked and what it was I didn't need to be doing anymore. I can link that video too. To figure out what you're doing that's necessary and what you're doing that's just getting in your way. So look at your life, look at your systems, figure out the stuff you need, the stuff you don't need, and then go from there. Sometimes the easiest way to get through a funk is to burn it all down and start over. Sometimes it's just to take what you're doing and adjust it a little bit, but you're never gonna know that until you know exactly what it is that you're trying to do in the first place. So that's my best tip for anybody in a planner funk. And like I said, I can do a more detailed video when I'm not also distracted trying to write shit down in my planner, which is what's happening now. So I'm gonna stop talking and finish writing here because I'm starting to get really confused. Okay, I think I'm gonna probably add some shit to this as my day goes on because there's some other things. A lot of these are little bits of things that if I can actually accomplish them, I'll probably have more space later in the day. But I'm not gonna make the list too much longer because there's a couple of things, like I said earlier, that keep getting moved from list to list. So rather than add more shit to my plate, I should do those first and then add more shit to my plate. That's the goal. Thank you so much to all of you who left me questions. Like I said, I'll try and answer any questions you have in my videos, but some of those questions I feel like I will have to do videos, like bigger videos in March when I'm done with Plan As You Go. Kind of spitballing off of Tammy's question, I'd like to ask you, have you been in a planner funk? And if you have, how have you dealt with it? Was there anything that you did that helped snap you out of it? Or did you just sort of have to put your head down and work? I would love to see tips, or if you're in one right now and you're struggling, letting us know about your struggles in the comments below so that we can all help each other. The community aspect of hearing what other people are doing to inspire and give ideas to each other is one of the best parts about the planner community in general and you guys here on this channel. Each of us can only come up with so many ideas on our own. When we have the group thought process of different ideas, it just helps more innovation and more inspiration. I think that that's fantastic. So I'd love to hear your experiences or your problems in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in tomorrow's Plan As You Go video.